Hey, do you want to hear a secret? I completely suck at the original Battletoads.
Battletoads?
It's true. Battletoads' legendary difficulty isn't a story told around the old internet campfire. That game is hard. Sure, level 1's easy and level 2's pretty much manageable as long as you don't have a second player. But Turbo Tunnel? Yeah, good luck with that. To get ready for this new and updated version, I went back to the original Battletoads on the Rare Replay compilation. I did finally get farther than Turbo Tunnel, but you know what? I cheated like a mofo to get through those levels. And you can rewind all you want to. Some of those puzzles doesn't make a difference. Even with the extra help, that game is nearly impossible. You have to have a psychic knowledge of not only the next step ahead of you, but the one after that as well. But even with that, I do have a nostalgia for the original Battletoads. The US version of Battletoads was published by TradeWest, which actually comes from my hometown. Imagine, if you will, a small Texas town of 25,000 people, and yet we have a video game company here. I was one of those gameplay counselors for it. I know, right? I'm working at the company and I can't even get past level 3. What am I supposed to tell people? Good luck? May the force be with you? Just keep trying, believe in yourself? It's impossible to be able to explain that level over the phone. So fueled by a sense of nostalgia, I wanted to check out this new Battletoads. Honestly, I wasn't sure what I thought of it at first. It was far different than the somewhat gritty 1990s extreme, well, that's pretty much 1990s in a nutshell, but it was bright and cartoony and had these crazy animations, and I don't know if I was officially on board when I first saw it. Regardless, I waited for this new version and I wanted just to see what they've done with it. How does Battletoads change in 26 years? And I have to admit, the art style grew on me. It looks like a Saturday morning cartoon, and the cutscenes in this game are hilarious. It really tapped into my sense of humor. The Battletoads still retain that goofy charm, and this is such an odd game. But to tell you the truth, I liked it.
Buy our video game!
Yeah, that's just like one of 1,000 phrases.
Granted, the version I downloaded on Steam has a few issues. For one, a lot of hits didn't connect, especially when you were trying to do that charge up morph kick maneuver or whatever their special ability. It whiffed right through every single enemy. But I went over to a friend's house and we sat together and co-opted in Xbox One. Everything that was frustrating me about the PC version was gone here, so I'm thinking there's probably a bug. I thought it was just me at first, but then nope. The game starts out where the Toads are just casually kicking butt and doing their thing that they've always done, and then they find out that they've been trapped in a virtual reality bunker for the last 26 years. All I could think of when I saw the three Toads huddled together as they're doing their news interview was the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. As the game progresses, the Toads end up doing menial office jobs until Rash, who just can't stand being mediocre and not legendary like he thought he was, he decides that the only way they can break this cycle is to go find the Dark Queen and beat her up.
We're gonna be famous!
And to get to her, that means you have to go through this game's new version of
Turbo bikes, baby!
I admit, I didn't want to throw a controller through the wall this time. This new speeder bike level remained challenging, but I didn't feel like it was unfair. It didn't feel like I needed a psychic ability in order to predict everything. It was just pattern recognition, remembering where all the obstacles were, where to jump. I felt the challenge was fair this time and not designed for sadomasochists. You do run into the Dark Queen pretty early on in the game, and she's not exactly what you think. They do address the Dark Queen's redesign, because back in the old games, she looked pretty much like a dominatrix, and the way they handle it is funny. This game looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. This game acts like a Saturday morning cartoon. I would love to see a standalone Battletoads episode based off the crazy stuff and the voice actors who really deliver some top-notch performances in this game. This is one of the more bizarre games I've played in a long time. And that's not just been the voice acting and the humor and the weird stuff. It's like, what? There's so much absurdity and weird stuff that goes on in this game, and I laughed quite a bit. I found this game very, very funny. This is a game that has been a GameStop meme for years and made 2 appearances in Shovel Knight and Killer Instinct, and now
we're coming for you!
The game itself is all over the place. It's not just a brawler. In fact, the brawler only makes up a small part of the game. And you do get to fight and kick butt, and they're really satisfying and great moments. But there are all sorts of mini games. There's the mini games of the menial humdrum of the office life. There's Greek Olympics mini games, speeder bike races, racing on this one guy named Jeff. The game is trying to be like 100 games at once, and for those who power through Battletoads, the original Battletoads was a bunch of different things at once. All these new mechanics were introduced in each different level, and that's basically this game as well, so it's not completely too far from the original Battletoads formula. The music is great as well. It has some great metal rock tunes to help you beat up bad guys left and right and race through the levels. The biggest disappointment music-wise was the fact that they didn't have that during the pause screen, and I was disappointed for that. That was like my only real bummer. So would I recommend Battletoads? Yeah, I actually would. It's a fun game. The controls are solid. The voice acting is excellent. It's funny if you have a weird sense of humor. The music's great. It has a lot of different things to do, so you're not really just mindlessly punching through level after level. The brawling was satisfying in this game. I had a lot of fun. And the challenge is ramped down for a more reasonable level. And during some of those levels, you know how it goes when you're playing games. It's like all of a sudden you're playing along, you die, you start getting really, really terrible at the game, and then suddenly you come around and you kind of get in that zone where everything makes sense. And that would be Battletoads. I was satisfied that I didn't have to consider options for like lower difficulties or rewind features or anything. I accomplished it. I did what I set out to do. And all the other levels feel like that. There's a bunch of levels where enemies will just gang up on you and beat the ever-loving hell out of you. There are racing levels that are timed because you have something coming after you. There's always something going on. It's extremely challenging, but it feels like you earn the reward by completing the level. It's a short game. It's about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how well you do, maybe 5, just depends. I guess what I'm trying to say is if the initial look of this new Battletoads turned you off, give it a chance, it grows on you. But that's my thought on Battletoads, and I will see you that next time. Take care.